Have you ever had that feeling where you're just trapped? You're in survival mode, absolutely buried under the day-to-day grind, while your biggest, most important goals are just sitting on a shelf collecting dust? If that sounds familiar, then you're in the right place. Today we are cracking open Driving Not Surviving to pull out a seriously powerful roadmap for turning great ideas into actual, real-world results. Let's dive in.
You know, this quote it nails it, doesn't it? So many of us, we've got the passion, we've got the drive, we've got the right attitude. But without the right direction, without a clear map, we're just spinning our wheels. We feel incredibly busy, but we're not actually being productive. We're lost.
So what is it that's holding us all back? Well, the book gives this enemy a name, the whirlwind. And look, this isn't some huge dramatic crisis. No, it's way more subtle than that. The whirlwind is the urgent, relentless, day-to-day noise. It's the flood of emails, the back-to-back meetings, all the little fires you have to put out. It just sucks up all of our time and energy, and it makes it feel almost impossible to start anything new.
And that is the real danger of the whirlwind. Your biggest, most important goals, they don't crash and burn in some big blaze of glory. It's not that dramatic. Instead, the whirlwind just quietly suffocates them. They get pushed aside for something more urgent, they lose momentum, and pretty soon, they're just forgotten. Just a ghost of a great idea.
Okay, so what do? Here's the crucial part. You can't get rid of the whirlwind. It's just the cost of doing business, right? But you do not have to be its victim. The key is to adopt a set of really simple, really powerful rules, a modus operandi, that lets you win inside the whirlwind despite all the chaos.
And here it is. This is the roadmap we've been talking about, the 4 modus operandi of achievement. Now, this isn't just some abstract theory. This is a proven, battle-tested playbook for getting things done in the real world. So let's break down exactly how it works.
Okay, first up, focus on the ferociously important goal. We call it the FIG. This is all about radical, ruthless focus. Instead of juggling 10 different priorities, you zero in on the 1 or 2 goals that will make all the difference. Think of an Olympic athlete like Michael Phelps. He wasn't sorta focused, he was ferociously focused. And your goal needs to be just as clear, with a definite finish line, from X to Y by when. No gray area, just a clear, undeniable target.
All right, modus operandi number 2. Now this is the real game changer. It's a huge mindset shift. See, while your big goal, your FIG, is important, you can't really manage it directly. So this rule forces you to shift your focus to the high-impact actions you and your team can control every single day that actually move the needle.
And this brings us to a super important distinction: lag measures versus lead indicators. A lag measure, like revenue or profit, tells you what's already happened. It's history. It's like looking at the final score after the game is over. Lead indicators, on the other hand, are predictive. They measure the things you can influence right now. A great example is weight loss. The number on the scale, that's a lag measure. What you can actually control are the lead indicators: calories you eat, workouts you do. That's where you play the game.
I mean, how perfect is this quote? When you only focus on lag measures, you're constantly reacting to the past. You're driving by looking in the rearview mirror. But when you focus on lead indicators, you're finally looking through the windshield. You're actually steering toward your destination. Okay, so you've got your ferocious goal, you're acting on the right lead indicators, but how do you keep your team engaged and motivated day in and day out? Well, that's where the third rule comes in. It's all about turning execution into a winnable game. You know, most leaders, they create what the book calls a coach's scoreboard. You know the one I'm talking about, right? It's a complicated spreadsheet full of historical data and tons of metrics. It's great for the coach to analyze, but for the players on the field, it's just confusing. It doesn't tell them if they're winning.
The secret is to create a player's scoreboard. It has to be dead simple. It's got to be visible to everyone, and it has to show both the lead indicators, the actions, and a lag measure, the result. Most importantly, anyone should be able to look at it from across the room and know in 5 seconds whether we are winning or losing right now. People play differently when they know the score. Engagement goes through the roof.
So we have the goal, we have the actions, we have the scoreboard. But what makes it all stick? What keeps it from fizzling out after a few weeks? That's the final rule, and it's the glue that holds this whole system together. It's about creating a consistent, reliable rhythm of responsibility. And this happens in a weekly FIG session. Now, let me be clear. This is not another long, boring staff meeting where everyone stares at their phones. No way. This is a fast, high-energy, 20-minute huddle. The agenda is always the same. First, we report on last week's commitments. Second, we check the player's scoreboard.
And third, we make new commitments to move the score this week. It's all about peer-to-peer accountability, not a manager nagging everyone.
So when you lay it all out like that, these 4 rules, it sounds pretty simple, right? Maybe even a little too simple. And you might be wondering, okay, that's a nice theory, but does this stuff actually work in the real world? Well, let's look at the proof.
The proof is absolutely in the results. For Marriott, applying these rules created a massive jump in guest retention. At Comcast, they almost cut repeat service calls in half, from 38% down to just 20%. And think about this one. In an environment where the stakes couldn't be higher, the Georgia Department of Human Services saw a staggering 60% drop in repeat cases of child maltreatment. This isn't just small improvements. This is total transformation.
And here's the most important thing to understand. The 4 modus operandi works so well because it's not just another management process to pile on top of everything else. It is a simple, elegant operating system that's designed to do one thing really, really well: change human behavior. So that brings the question right back to you. For you, for your team, for your entire organization, what is that one ferociously important goal? What is the one thing that, if you could achieve it, would make all the other problems seem small? What is your from X to Y by when?
Because when you focus on what truly matters, when you act on the things you can actually control, and when you engage your team in a game that you can win, that's when you finally break free. That's when you stop just surviving the whirlwind and you start driving toward your most important achievements.